There we go, lovely. Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. Well,
Hi.
Here's my friend Anne, but just only a cushion at the moment.
Hello, Annie and Robert.
it is lovely to see you all. Welcome all to Bridgewater Together. Why I made Bridgewater my home. There we go, lovely. So I just want to say it's so wonderful to see you all as some familiar faces and some people who I'm looking forward to getting to know a little bit more. Most of you will know me, but to those of you who have not had the pleasure of meeting just yet, my name is Alyssa. I'm the assistant producer at Somerset Film. I'm quite new to the team, and I was introduced to Bridgewater Together by Phil Shepherd, who I'm sure you all know. And I was lucky enough to ask to contribute to the last event and was asked to host this one today, which is really exciting. I couldn't say no because the last one was so brilliant. So of course I had to say yes, and I'm really, really excited and feel privileged to be here, really. Just want to say, as I'm sure you can notice, I feel quite rude, but I've popped you on mute so that we don't talk over each other. But please do use, as I can see you already are, the chat function. Chat to each other. Feel free to ask me any questions that you have along the way. I'm so excited to engage with all of you today. And yes, I just want to say as well, before we really get into things, a huge thank you to our partners that, of course, have made the event possible and support us so readily. So we have Unite the Union, we have Somerset Diverse Communities to thank, the HPC Community Fund, there is the Bridgwater Trades Union Council, Bridgwater Town Council, and we also have Somerset Film. Now, I do want to just do a little bit of housekeeping as well before we get into things. As we said, you're muted at the moment, but all of the event will be recorded, which is great because it means that we will be able to watch it back at a later date. It will be posted on the Somerset Film YouTube page, and we will also be distributing things on the social media pages such as Facebook for Bridgewater Together. If, however, you're not too keen on being recorded, which is understandable, then I would just ask that you turn off your camera and you won't be featured in the recording. So that's all fine. There we go. And of course, if you do lose your connection, I'm sure by now most of us are very familiar with Zoom, but you can just rejoin the call using the same password. So that should be fine. There we go. Oh yes, so it goes without saying, but just a reminder to all, please stay respectful and kind to each other. If there is any kind of unwanted behaviour or perhaps comments, unfortunately, of course, we will have to remove that individual. I'm sure it won't be a problem, but just in case. And also, finally, just a little bit of Zoom info is on the top right corner of the screen, there is a view option, so you can choose whether you're viewing us in gallery or other modes, whichever you find is best for you today. Perfect. So to get onto the programme a little bit, so during this time of separation amidst, of course, the COVID-19 outbreak and pandemic, community and communication are vital. And tonight we have the privilege of hearing from diverse groups of Bridgwater residents. So of course, they'll all be exploring the topic of why I made Bridgwater my home. Now, personally, I moved to Bridgwater because I was really lucky to land my dream job, basically, of working assistant producer for Somerset Film. And that has not only been this kind of open door into my dream career, but it's also enabled me to meet some amazing people that have been incredibly generous and have already taught me a whole bunch, although it's only been a few months, which brings me on to our first contributor, who is Phil Shepherd, who has been a wonderful mentor to me, as he has been to many others. And Phil Shepherd is going to take us through a short presentation about the engine room and how it came to be based in Bridgwater. The engine room is the base for Somerset Film, which works with Bridgwater Town Council and Diversity Voice, as well as Somerset Diverse Communities, to host the annual Bridgwater Together. So let's have a look. I'm just going to find Phil here and get him in for a little chat. Let's have a look. Hello, Phil.
Hello, Elisa.
How are you doing?
Yeah, well, it's great to be here on another Bridgewater Together event. Yeah, I feel like a bit of a fraud because I live in Glastonbury actually, but my story is why we chose to bring the engine room to Bridgewater. And it's not a very long story, so I won't bore you with it. And I know quite a few people know quite a lot about the engine room anyway. But if you could roll VT, as they say, Elisa, Dan's been helping me. We've put together a couple of short films, very short films, that will set the scene. And the first one is about to come up, I think, on your screen.
Yes, if you bear with me a moment, if I can ask you, Phil, just a quick question while I load up the video. Can I ask, sorry, before we get started,
Yeah.
have you ever lived, just because personally I'm interested, have you ever lived in Bridgwater, or has it kind of been your working kind of home
No,
from home,
I
really?
haven't. I haven't ever lived in Bridgewater, but actually, on a personal level, I did. I grew up in Plymouth largely, and we used to go for holidays in Scotland every year. My dad would drive us up, and we'd come through on the A38 through Bridgewater. It always used to fascinate me as a town because suddenly there was all these people on bikes everywhere. It didn't look like anywhere else I was used to seeing living in Devon.
Phil, would you have a favourite Bridgwater memory that you could share with us at all?
Um, well, I think getting the engine room open, I do remember on the first day being upstairs. We were all kind of hiding upstairs because we opened the door on a Monday morning, and it was like, will anyone come? You know, have we made a bad mistake here? Because I used to drive round to the engine room site before we opened at like 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, just to look at it and think, is this really very sensible? And often at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's heaving outside that building. You know, the big pubs and the clubs are all going full scale. And I used to think we must be completely bonkers because you know we're just going to get broken into, everything's going to get nicked, and I had all this paranoia about it.
Mm.
Um, so I had sort of I had it was quite an anxiety fueled ride to actually open up, and then on day one it was like I remember the message coming upstairs. There's someone in the cafe. I think we all went down to see, and we were so excited because we thought we'd probably do it for a couple of years. You know, we didn't have a clue really what. Well, we did know what we were doing, but we had this vision, but we didn't have a what you say business plan exactly. It was a wing and a prayer, and then when people started coming and using it, it was just fantastic. So that was my that's a good memory. I've got many good memories actually.
Yes, I can imagine. I'm already building up many myself, although I've only been there about 3.5 months really before lockdown came into place. But it's amazing how a place like Bridgwater and a place like the Engine Room will just fill you with stories in such a short period of time because it's so full of characters and energy, both individuals and groups that are just fascinating and wonderful to be around. Um, let's have a look.
How are we doing with the download?
We are doing all right. We are unfortunately not fully downloaded yet.
Why don't we? Is Hassan already with us?
Have a look.
Or why don't we come back to me in a minute? That would be my suggestion.
Yes, no problem. I do apologise, Phil.
No,
Well,
absolutely fine. It's sort of, I think we're setting the mark here. This is informal. It's easy going. It's Saturday night. We're all in flipping isolation.
mhm.
We can't get too paranoid about anything, really.
Yes, you're not wrong
Let's
there.
move on and do the next item, I suggest.
Sure, okay, no problem. let's have a look. So I'll pop you on mute for just a moment again, Phil, and I'll see what's next. Let's have a look. So, oh, wonderful. Okay. Rich, let me get a hold of you. So I'd like
Yay.
to
Hello.
Hi, Rich.
Hello, Elisa. Okay.
Wonderful. So what we'll do is we'll pop over to Vivian's wonderful film that she's made. I just want to introduce, I'm sure once again, most of you know Rich. Richard Tomlinson is the creative technologist, which is a very lovely title, I have to say, at Somerset Film. And he's
Yes.
been working with Vivian through the Ignite Somerset project. So Richard, if you could just say a little bit about what you two have been working on.
Yeah, sure. Can you all hear me, everybody? Yeah, can you hear me okay? Everybody's going like that. Thumbs up. So, Vivian, yeah, as Elisa said, I have the pleasure of working at the Engine Room, working on the Ignite Somerset project, which brings me into contact with artists working across the county. And Vivian walked through the door at the Engine Room. Some of you will have met Vivian at the last Bridgwater Together when she did a really impromptu presentation in her front room. It was amazing. Vivian walked through the door at the Engine Room and wanted to explore photography and filmmaking in a little bit more depth. And it was great because we did a couple of workshops, and she's a very talented and creative artist. And Michal and I were chatting about a creative cultural awareness activity. And we thought, wouldn't it be great if we could work with Vivian? And she's got these photography skills already, but wouldn't it be great if we could build some new skills for Vivian in running a workshop? So Michal and Vivian and I set up this project, a creative cultural awareness photography project that we were going to be running at Troll School, a small primary school. And we've got some really good activities lined up. The children are going to look at a range of photographs from around the world to provoke conversation that explores ideas of empathy, identity, culture and community. And then they were going to each produce a short piece of radio inspired by those photographs. And the idea was that they would imagine that they'd been dropped. Each of the children would imagine they'd been dropped into this place that they'd never been to before, where everything was unusual and strange to them, and they would make a short piece of radio about that. Unfortunately, I think more or less the day or around that week of us planning to go to Troll School, that was when the lockdown happened and we weren't able to deliver our project. But we've kind of put it on a shelf for a little while, and as soon as things get back to something resembling normality, we'll run that project with Troll School. It's a really lovely little project, and what was so great was that Vivian, had a key role in developing the ideas. So it was all about, the project is all about kind of building cultural awareness through photography and radio. And I believe, as an artist in her own right, she's created a short film for Bridgwater Together.
Yes, that's right. It's a really lovely film.
Okay.
So interesting to hear what you guys have been up to. And I've seen you working together, and it's really vibrant energy, I think, from Vivian and yourself. And I think it does translate in this film as well. Rich, thank you so much. I think that's a wonderful introduction. And I'm going to share with you all now Vivian's wonderful film that she's made.
Yeah, yes. I'm ready now. Why I made Bridgwater my home? What? Very nice. A friend of mine is from here. She was born and she has lived her whole life in Bridgwater. So I thought it's not a bad idea to give it a chance, and I just moved from Taunton to Bridgwater. What my friends think about it. We find a house in Bridgwater. I think they were well sad actually. It's not too far away. I think it's a little bit of drama, but yeah.
20-minute drive.
It's just 20 minutes driving.
I'm not fucking doing it.
What do I think about Bridgwater now? Well,
It is a lovely film. I think she did an amazing job of really capturing the atmosphere of Bridgwater. And yeah, it, like somebody said in the comments, it just makes me want to walk around more and see all the wonderful, wonderful spots that I've not had time to see just yet. If I could, I would like to invite back Phil, if that's okay. Phil, do you feel ready to
Yep.
share the film?
Roll with me. Okay, So, why we made Bridgwater our home. There's the engine room. You're all familiar. Well, some people won't be familiar with it, maybe. A lot of more people probably familiar with the cafe. But how did we end up coming to Bridgwater? To answer that, we have to go back to the year 1995 and the origins of what was to become Somerset Film. Light. It was a great success for us. 60 people in Glastonbury and Bridgwater made 1-minute films of their own. Here's one of them.
Don't bore me about your background, don't bore me about your culture, don't bore me about your... Ja говорю по-украинску, nie, ja mówię po polsku. Your past. So I think I bored my dad. I must have been boring to my dad, but since then I've had 3 children, and now you're proud of me now. So I brought this film and a sound tape that from his brother that he hadn't seen for 50 years from his homeland, and we watched the film and listened to the tape. And my dad turned around and said, "You couldn't do better than having this," and he picked up my sister's child. I really miss you, Dad. I miss you, Tan. I miss him.
So that was Sophia's film, one of 60 plus films that were made in Glastonbury and Bridgwater. So why did we come to Glastonbury? Why did we come to Bridgwater, rather? We needed a building. We needed it to be in the middle of Somerset. Was it going to be Yeovil or Taunton or Bridgwater? Hang on a minute, Bridgwater, wasn't that the first town to turn back the slave ships? Didn't it be the first town to stand against appeasement of Hitler in the 1930s? Hasn't it got lots of cool buildings? Hasn't it got the oldest art centre in the country? Hasn't it got a really strong community? And there was the right building. In those days, back at the beginning of the century, it was a garage. Later on, it became a Robin Reliant showroom. Later, a second-hand furniture shop. And eventually, we were able to turn it into the engine room, opening in 2003. So, a very brief ramble through 18 years of lots of different projects, and here we are in the engine room in 2020. And when we get back in the building, we're looking forward to many more years. If people are interested in what we do, uh, you can get us on somersetfilm.com, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and that's the story really of how we came to come. We like the look of Bridgwater, and here we are, 18 years later. Thank you for having us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Very nice.
Well done. Well done, Phil.
Really lovely.
No.
There we go. Perfect. So I'd like to introduce our next contributor, who I'm really pleased that we have with us again. It is somebody that has been contributing to Bridgwater Together really consistently and with really wonderful energy and spirit. This person, who is Mariusz, is actually, yes, hello, is we all saw him watched him play a wonderful piano piece last time, and it's really nice today that we'll get to know also a different side of Mariusz, because he's also going to be talking with us directly today. Is that right?
Yes, that is right. And Alisa, I don't want to be kind for you, but you're doing great job, the same like Michael. So all the best for your bosses, guys, your director and everyone. You must be very proud if you get Alisa and Michael and people who create for us the all event like this. I'm really appreciate like a person who can watching that beautiful event and who can share with you guys some story about something. So Alisa, congratulations, you're going very well. It's brilliant. It's the same like before. So I'm really happy. And that is true. Again, I try to show you something, guys, but my routine on the last weeks was absolutely horrible and I was absolutely busy, so I can't finish my movie. And I'm a little bit disappointed, but I still get some surprise for you guys. So I was preparing a few questions about the theme, why I made Bridgwater my home. And if you are ready, I can start to explain everything now. Are you ready, guys?
Yes.
So before when I start, I'm ready with the all artifacts. And before when I found the answer why I made it Bridgwater my home, we must go back in time, guys, because that was 3 years ago. And I hope this artifact is like my head. It's magical ball, So I hope he can help us just go back in the time and we can find the answer why I'm in the Bridgwater. So we can start going now, guys. The first question is, why I came to Bridgwater? So this is a very simple question because that was easy, to be honest. I was found a job when I was in Poland. I was looking a job in England. This is my second time in England. Before I was on the north of England. So I was thinking about the south, and I found a job in the Bridgwater. That's why I'm coming here. Another step was just buy the tickets. Very simple thing. Take it, few stuff like few clothes, a little bit money to my pocket, and just the brave emotion, and that's it. And I'm just decide going to England, So another question. This is very complicated because the beginning in the Bridgwater was not heavy, but was very simple. Like when I was found a job, I was start living in Bridgwater. So my routine looks like just job, sleep, food, and that's it. And everything like this going nearly 9 months. So and when I was coming to England again, I was I want to be invisible, you know, like I don't know why, to be honest, because everyone got some private story, I think, and I'm not looking anything. And for me, like for emigrant, my feelings about this part of England was a little bit different right before, and I just try to carry on with my job. And mm, I get some feelings like I was hope I will find someone and some places who makes me happy. So that's it, you know. Another question. The first place is what I'm seeing the Bridgwater. So when I start living Bridgwater every day, I have pretty lucky because I was working from Monday to Friday, so I get the off on Saturday and Sunday for the weekend. So what I'm doing, I'm just exploring the town. I'm just walking around the town like cat, you know. And the first place what I was visit was of course church because that was the center of the town. And I love architecture from England. So I was really interested in how look this place in inside. And then what I was found there, I was found the old piano, and I was found a gentleman. His name is Kelvin. He carry on this church, you know. And I was asking, can I play a little bit on this piano? And he said, yeah, just carry on. And I started playing. He just asked me about something, and that was after half year. That means 6 months. I have first good feelings about the Bridgewater, to be honest, you know, because someone gave me some opportunity, some questions, accept my language. Still, it's not so good, but anyway, and that was very kind. And yeah, and I was really happy about this place. Of course, I was walking around the river, you know, around the center of the town. I always visit the restaurant in the center of the town, espresso restaurant, and I get nice contact with people there, you know. And the coffee is, for me, it's the best coffee in the town, you know. And I have the big sentiment for this place and for these people because they are always smiling, giving good energy. And yeah, I think that was the answer for this question. The first place is what I was seeing, the Bridgewater. Later was, of course, the Blake Museum. Again, oh my God, I remember the first week in the Bridgewater when I was center of the town. Can you imagine? That was almost 3 years ago. Then I was going to the King Square, to this park, you know, with the coffee. I was sitting and I was thinking about this part of the town because every day when I'm sitting on this park, I was going back from the Castle Street, you know, to the riverside, and I was dreaming. I said, "Oh my God, this is the best street in the Bridgewater, really." And I was dreaming about this place, and I can't imagine how old is this place. Later, of course, I get the more questions, so I will find the answer. We can find the answer why I have very good feelings about this street. So just give me one moment because this is the another question. So after a few months, was some changes in my life, you know. I was changed the job, I was changed the place when I was sleep. I was rented a small house, small bungalow in the nice area on the Bridgewater, and I would really enjoy this place because the area was open, was quiet, was beautiful, gave me some good energy, and that was another place when I was start live in the Bridgewater, and I'm still carry on with my routine a little bit invisible, you know. Sometimes Kelvin, the guy from the church, rings me and he asked me, Mariusz, do you want to play for people in the church because we have an open day? I said, okay, why not? And I didn't expect almost 150 people. And I'm coming to the church, the door was open, and I saw that people. I said, oh my God, where am I? What can I, you know, what can I do for these guys? But I'm start playing with the kids. We have a fun for 2.5 hours, and that was another time when I have beautiful feelings about the Bridgewater. So yeah. So my routine looks like this. And almost after 1 year, another question. Almost after 1 year, I was met the first person who changed something in my life for positive. I was met when I was start playing in the church. I carry on with my melody 9 stars, and I was thinking, that would be cool if I can recording that melody. I can close some part from my life, and that will be pretty nice. And I knew it about the engine room, but I think I was too shy go there and ask about something. But anyway, I was met the one girl in job. Her name is Ania. This is Polish girl, and someone told me she knows somebody who recording the movie, and in future I was know that was the Michael, that was Michał, the Polish guy. We have a nice chat in the coffee store, and we just talk a little bit about my idea, and just sitting like this with the hat, with the beard, and just thinking, this is pretty cool, And you know what we've done? After 2 weeks, Anna, Michael, and me, we're going on the seaside with a lot of artifacts, and we tried to recording that movie a little bit, just the beginning, and that was the moment in my Bridgwater, in my second England, when I was start thinking, I was found the people who think a little bit like me. So that will be pretty cool, if I can carry on with these people, because my life absolutely changed and my feelings absolutely changed. So yeah, so that was another step in the Bridgewater. Of course, the routine always looks the same. So from Monday to Friday, heavy job, eat, sleep, rest, and that's it, So, but another question is, what happened later? When I was met Anna and Michael, Michael asked me, do you know, I'm carry on with the people who create something like the Bridgewater Together, So he explained me everything about this, and he said, we will carry on in the art center, and we have some concert. If you want, you can take it some part from this concert. You can play for people. I said, how many people will come in? And he said, just few, So I was thinking, if few, maybe 20, maybe 30, what happened later was a lot of people again, and I was staying on the stage, and I was thinking, what can I say for guys, and again, everything going well. I was taking the nice energy from this kind of people. They start asking me about something. I was met Mr. Phil, Mr. Brian, so they give me some opportunity about something. And again, something changed in my brain, some feelings about this small town in England, his name Bridgewater, changed it, and that people give me a little bit attention, and I was thinking, everything going well, So that was cool. Yeah, that was cool, and I was thinking I want to stay in here. That was the first time when I was thinking I want to stay in here, even if I was, because I'm immigrant, So for me, it was easy take it some part from my life. Like if something going not well in the one place, just try to go to another place. But something stopped me in here in the Bridgewater, and I'm stuck, but positive. So I was absolutely happy about this. And another thing, and I think we are pretty close to the answer for this question, guys, for your time. Why I made it Bridgewater my home? Well, I think it's not about the town. It's not about the history of the town. It's not about the place where I live now. It's about the people. It's about the people. And my philosophy in life is pretty simple, because even if when I was kid, my family teach me some feelings like it doesn't matter where you are. It's more important who is around you. So I'm pretty sure if I will live somewhere in the end of the world, and I will get this kind of people, like for example today, I will survive and I will make it my life happy. So this is the answer about this. This is the answer. And I have some surprise for you guys. Before when I finish my boring story, like as you know, I'm playing in piano and I'm not professional, but I have some some surprise for you guys. So before lockdown, really, I have some lucky. I was bought the guitar. That was 1 week before the lockdown, and I'm start write some melody about the Somerset because I was thinking if some people give me the good energy, what can I doing for you guys? And I'm start write some melody about the Somerset. And if you like, I can share with you that melody, guys. What do you think? Are you ready about this?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, go on.
Come on.
Go on, go on.
Really nice.
About you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Good, very good.
Good job.
That was really lovely. Thank you so much, Marius. I think it was a very not boring story. It's really lovely to hear your story. And I think it's not too dissimilar from a lot of people. I'm a first generation immigrant too, and you do kind of try and sneak into the background a little bit, but I think we're all really glad that you're not in the background anymore, and it's really lovely to have you here.
But you know what? Love is very difficult because, for example, you want to be invisible, but you can't. I think this is our nature, and this is the trouble sometimes. But anyway, thank you so much for having me here, and you're doing a great job. Carry on.
Thank you. We look forward to hearing more from you. Wonderful. I think we're off to a very good start here. And I'm really excited also to introduce our next contributor. We received a lovely film from this person who is Helena, and she has also been really involved with the community. Helena also teaches English as a second language in the community, and she's really well known. Everybody that I've spoken to about her says, yes, I know her. She's got great energy. She's lovely. Helena, is there anything, I know that you also sent a film through from your friend Joanna. Is there anything you'd like to say before we get started?
Yes, hello everyone. I'm glad people know me and I'm involved with the community because that's very important for me. Like Marius said, sometimes you want to be in the background, but there's something in you that you just want to show to the people and be involved. And we all part of a community, and it's good that we all get to know each other, and this is a great event, and I'm very happy to give you something back as well. So I send you 2 videos. One is about my story, me and my boyfriend's story, why we came to England and why did we pick Bridgwater to live. And the second video is of a friend, a Polish friend, that she's married with a Brazilian man. So they also made a little video with their families, and they're happy to share their story with you guys.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Helena.
You're welcome.
I'll put the film on. Everybody, please enjoy these lovely 2 films.
Hello, my name is Helena.
And I'm Hugo.
And we're both from Portugal.
Our story starts back in 2015 when we finished our master's degree in university and Helena couldn't find a job.
So I had left my parents' house at the age of 17, and at that point I didn't want to go back. That's when I decided I wanted to move to another country where I could be independent, have my own job, and just have a better quality of life.
And because any beginning is always difficult, we try to move somewhere where we have our family. And to have initial support and things to make us comfortable. So, and because Portuguese were always known as the persons were pioneering, discover new things and new worlds, we found ourselves with a range of 7 countries to choose from.
And how do you make that decision then? So we were looking for a place that could provide us some essential stuff like safety,
healthcare system like the same we had back in Portugal,
somewhere we could easily find a job and that it would be a stable one,
cheap accommodation,
which where we could have a cheap lifestyle,
and the most of all, to be friendly.
And that's when we choose for Bridgwater. So Bridgwater, even though it's a small town, it has been growing tremendously in the last few years.
And here we can afford to have a house with a small garden, which for us is
important.
Very important.
Most of our friends, they live in London, for an instance, and they have to share house or share the room. And for us, it's important to be able to afford a place of our own, and here we can do so.
Yeah.
Jobs normally are well paid, and also Bridgwater's geography makes it easier to travel around into different sorts of destinations.
Yeah, such as big cities as Bristol or Exeter. We have the airport just about 45 minutes from home.
And also you can go for walks and visit parks, castles, medieval places, and...
Most importantly, because we are Portuguese, we really do like to go to the beaches. So from Bridgwater to go somewhere else, to the south or to the southwest or to Cornwall, it's very, very, very fast as well.
So thumbs up for Bridgwater.
Here you get to know all of your neighbors and the community. It is multicultural and embraces everyone.
So we're happy to say that Bridgwater is our home.
So lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Helena, and thank you both. I'm also going to pop on Joanna's film.
Hello, my name is Joanna. I came into Bridgwater because my friend's brother lives over here, and I stayed here for 14 years because I think it's a good opportunity for my children, like my daughter.
I go trampolining.
And my son.
Football.
Yeah, I'm Daniel, Dad. I came here since 2004, and I live here for 16 years. This place is really nice. There's a home of Carnival, which you got the biggest event of the UK, is the Carnival times. So,
thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.
Really lovely. Let's have a look. I'm not sure, Helena, if your friends are listening today, but please do say thank you if they're not.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Really, really lovely.
Thank you.
I'd also like to invite next to have a chat with Minty Austin, who is a member of Bridgwater Together. And Minty's going to say a few words about our upcoming events.
Okay, hi everybody. Yes, I was just going to say I really agree with everything that's been said about Bridgwater. I mean, it's exactly why I moved to Bridgwater. I love it. I love the buildings. I love everything about it. I live right by the river. It's great. We've got the art centre we've already mentioned, the amazing engine room. I mean, what is not to like? But I agree that the most important thing is the people here. And I've lived here 10 years. It was the best decision I ever made. And like most best decisions you ever make, completely by chance, completely random. I came to stay with friends and in West Bagborough, came to Bridgwater to catch the Berry coach and just fell in love with it because it's just got such a quirky atmosphere, hasn't it? It's got everything. It's got a vibrancy, it's got a buzz. And I've met the nicest people here. And I think I've had such a welcome here from everybody. That's what I love. And everybody accepts you. Okay, I'm from the UK, so it's not as though I've come from another country, but you don't get this welcome everywhere. You really don't. There is something special about Bridgwater people, I think, whether they've lived here all their lives or they've just arrived or they've lived here a few years. It's just everybody has something very special about them. They're interested in you. They want to know about you. They want to know your story. And they don't care what you look like, what you sound like, it's who you are. I lived for many years in London, and when I tell my London friends about how when you go shopping in Bridgwater, people will just say to you, oh, what's that you're eating? What are you having for your supper? And just think, what? You know, nobody in London's remotely interested what you're having for your tea. In Bridgwater, everybody's interested. And it's one of the reasons that I particularly wanted to get involved with Bridgwater Together, because I'm a woman who lives on my own. My sons have grown up, and I've had such a lovely welcome here. And I want that to happen really to everybody that comes to Bridgwater, which is why I have been involved with Bridgwater Together. And so we just want to tell you about our next event, which is called When This Is All Over, the World After Quarantine, or the coronavirus, the lockdown. That's going to be on June the 6th. And I presume, at least you can tell me, it's going to be at 6 o'clock again. I'm not sure about that, but I presume it is. And I mean, I'm just really interested in what everybody's going to say, everybody's views about how things will have changed after lockdown. I know that I just feel I personally have had quite a lot of time to think about things and reflect on my life and what's important to me. I know a lot of people, if you obviously in the NHS or you're a frontline worker, you know, you may have been very busy, or you may have been looking after children. You may not have the time that a lot of us have had to think. But I know my feeling is that we've really had a chance to realise what's important in life and who's important. Our families, our friends, our neighbours, you know, our community. But really, who are the most important people? NHS workers, care workers, frontline workers, people that have kept us going through this crisis, delivery drivers, you know, everybody. And I'm just hoping that after this crisis, people really understand and value and respect these people and pay them properly. That's what I want. I really want there to be a sort of reset of our country and our values and what we think's right. And when you ask a child what they want to be, they don't say a celebrity or, you know, something like that. They say, as they used to when I was a child, a nurse, a doctor, train driver. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping will happen after quarantine. But I'm really looking forward to everybody else's ideas about what's going to happen, just the practical sides. So that is Bridgwater, When This Is All Over, the World After Quarantine, June the 6th. I'll be there. So I look forward to hearing everyone's views.
Wonderful. Thank you so much,
Pleasure.
Really, really wonderful and so beautifully put. I'm also really looking forward to the event. I think I'd also invite you, I know of course we hope that you will join us in that next event, but if you do have any thoughts of what you think quarantine, the end of quarantine might look like, or what you hope it might look like, please do pop it in the comments. We'd be really happy to have a chat and find out more. Minty, thank you so much.
Pleasure.
Wonderful. And I'm really pleased for this next section as well. So this next part is about the Mayor's Race, which is we'll be showing a short trailer for the film of that name. And this film was made by the Bristol-based company Firstborn Creatives, and the film was recently described as one of the most important films to come out of Bristol in the last few years. So not necessarily Bridgwater based, but it does all really tie together in terms of some shared values, and it tells the story of the Bristol's first Black mayor. It's a story about ethnicity, class and inequality. And they have previously, the Firstborn Creators have previously worked, and this is how it all ties together, with Somerset Film at the Engine Room, and the organisation originated from the Black Pyramid Film Collective, which was active in Bristol in the 1980s. And I'm delighted to say that we are joined by Rob Mitchell, one of the film's creators, who I will be bringing in. And I'm going to ask Rob just to say a few words about the film and the process.
Hello. Thanks for inviting me on. I feel like a complete cuckoo, by the way. So Marius, I don't know if you have this expression, but it's a bird that lays its eggs in other people's nest. And so right now, everyone's talking about why they made a home out of Bridgwater. I'm thinking, I got the BR bit for Bristol. But thanks for inviting me on. But there is a connection to Somerset Film, and actually, and in Engine Room. And when you were speaking, the film wasn't actually made by Firstborn, but myself and Sean Sobers, we did set up Firstborn a number of years ago as a production company. And I guess if we hadn't done this, then I guess we wouldn't have this, if you like. But it's not strictly a Firstborn production. And Firstborn did come out of Black Pyramid. And the reason I'm going all the way back into that history is because I've heard you talk about the Engine Room and Bridgwater Together. And Black Pyramid was one of those places back in the mid-90s, I guess, in 93, etc., which was based around African Caribbean arts in Bristol. And I guess I just graduated myself from Bristol University, and I was living up in Clifton, which is, slave master central up there once upon a time, a few hundred years ago. And I wanted to make a film about this wonderful place I was living. And I was interested in the story, but there was something else in me that said, when I started looking into the history of the merchant venturers and the rest of it, just by accident, because that's who owned the place, something else to me said, actually, I want to tell a different set of stories. And that's what led me down to Black Pyramid, Kumba, blah, 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 to this story. And the reason I go back there is because it just reminds me, even Marius saying that he found home at the Engine Room. It's places like that centers of community which actually mean that single-handedly could transform how people say. Minty was saying Bridgwater's very different, but it's places like the Engine Room. Phil, top marks to you for keeping the thing going for so long, and yourself, at least, for keeping it going. But it's institutions like that I have to say top props and respect to. That's my backstory, if you like, of this film, The Mayor's Race. It was made over 6 years or 7 years, 2012 to about 2018 we were making it. And once again, my background is African Caribbean. The producer director is a woman called Lorraine Blumenthal. And she's German. She lives in Berlin, so she couldn't make this evening. But Berlin, she says that they have a very different approach to working with ethnic minority, ethnic diversity, if you like. So the emphasis there very much is on integration. So in your life, if you're accentuating your difference, then actually you're not integrating. And that's the constant paradox I think diversity always has to have. And obviously I'm not saying one or right or the other, but we, on the other hand, when she came here, found it was really interesting that we always talked about being Black and the problem and moaning about this and showing about that, but it's also a real a place to creative explore as well. because obviously black is culturally unspecific, doesn't mean anything, but it's a political concept. However, it does mean as an artist, as a creator, you're always looking to tell a different story. But my life is not like that. I'll show you what it's like. And I guess that's the thing that drives the films like The Mayor's Race. And the whole starting point was Lorraine and I, she was doing a master's in Bristol, about 2011 or so. And there was a book signing at Waterstones where Tony Benn, rest his soul, and Paul Stevenson were doing a book, their mutual book signings. Paul Stevenson, he's a character in the film who led the bus boycott in 1963. And Tony Benn was the MP in Bristol in 1963. At the time, it was just Bristol. Now there's, I think, 4 constituencies for Bristol. Then it was just one, the Bristol MP. And in 1963, his big battle actually was fighting the fact that his story is actually slightly more interesting. I should make a film about this. He'd inherited this title, Lord Wedgwood Ben. And he didn't want it because he was an MP. And as an MP, he could not be a Lord and a commoner. So he had to get booted out of the House of Commons. Therefore, he had to get deselected as MP in Bristol. But he spent that year fighting for a new law because Bristol wanted him as MP, blah, 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 blah. 2011, here he was, decades later. Of course, everyone who knows Tony Benn knows what an institution he was. And so Lorraine, the filmmaker, Mayor's Race, we met and we wanted to make a story about the Bristol bus boycott, which also took place in 1963. But we thought it was hard to sell in the modern filmmaking world. So my premise was, well, actually, there is this mixed race, mixed Jamaican Welsh person who's running for mayor. So wouldn't that be an interesting update? So in 1963, black drivers and conductors could not get jobs on the buses in Bristol because of a colour bar. And here we are in 2011-12 with a mixed race guy, mixed Jamaican Welsh, running for mayor. Wouldn't that be an interesting update to getting a job in Bristol story? So that kind of is where that started. So we went on a 7-year journey with that. Lots of very different, there's lots of things. I mean, I think in terms of race and class is an interesting one. I mean, I think this is my final word really before you play the trailer. I think when Phil and I were talking about this, we're talking, not only am I an imposter talking about the Bristol thing or Bridgwater person, but also we'll talk about the idea of race, but also I think class is an interesting one, but also with this whole coronavirus business, whether you're Marvin Rees, who's the centre of this film, or Boris Johnson, or Nicola Sturgeon, or Sadiq Khan, do you actually have any control anyway? They're the kind of questions I think that this film would raise now. So here's someone in 2011 or whatever, 2018, looking to become mayor of Bristol. That's what the film's about. And it is on Vimeo on demand, but I think you've got the trailer there, Lisa.
Yes, that's right. Thank you so much, Rob. It's such a pleasure to hear from you. And I think it's don't want to presume, but I'm pretty almost 100% sure that you are more than welcome, and you are very much a part of this in, telling the kind of stories that we are passionate about, stories about diversity, inclusion, and the difficulties that those that are perceived as other do face. So, I'm really grateful, and we're all grateful that you're here. And yes, and it is available on Vimeo. It can be watched. I certainly know what I'm going to be doing tonight because I have not seen this film yet. So I'm going to share with you all the trailer. Please enjoy.
Thank you.
It was an unlikely journey. My mum was born on Stapleton Road, poverty, left school at 14 whenever I was, became a hairdresser, My dad arrived here as a 12-year-old from Jamaica, and my family's always, they certainly never touched on being middle class. And suddenly I'm there, standing there, running for mayor. We are going to be a city that stands together and forges a future of hope, not a future of hate. And it's important that we live the future and that we are an example of the future that we want Bristol to be as we go into our future years.
In my opinion, we're just less worse than the Tories. Yeah. And I'm sick of that, mate. I'm sick of out for asking for like scraps from the table.
You've got money at all costs. Fuck everybody else.
How has power been distributed in the past? Who gets power? Who gets to shape the world and make decisions? Who takes political leadership? It's not people from my background. So there's my motivation, you know, right there.
Marvin, in the middle, at the back, please, because it's a big thing, but it's not all about Marvin. That's all right.
Well, we're running neck and neck with the Tories at the moment, and really every vote counts.
I think that one of the iconic stories of Martin Luther King, for me, is him sitting at his kitchen table just saying, I can't do this. It's beyond me. It's too big for me.
5 minutes to vote.
That's too soon, okay? Yes, where are you off to now? You off to enjoy.
Shall we? Sleep well.
Something happened to him that night in which he said, in the face of my doubts and in the face of my insecurities, and my awareness of my lack of perfection, I will nevertheless, you know, press on. And I think that's one of the positions I find myself in.
Post is unnamed. Oh no, Somerset Diverse Communities. This Somerset.
Just looks great. Roberts, again, thank you so much for taking the time to be here.
Thank you. I think I put the link to the film in. I'm trying to do it to everyone. I'm not sure. Basically, I don't know if this will give you either a link to the film, and also that might give you a little discount to the film. I'm not sure if it does or not. We'll see. If that doesn't work, I'll have to make it up to you some other way.
Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thanks for pleasure to be honored.
Amazing. What an absolute pleasure. And I just want to say as well, so while we're on the subject of mayors and local governments, we also wanted to take this opportunity to talk to our very own mayor, Councillor Tony Hayward. I'm just going to find Tony, if you bear with me a moment. And Tony, we would be really grateful to hear a little bit about your experience in Bridgwater.
Great, thanks, Elisa. And thank you, Rob. I really look forward to seeing the film. Yeah, really good. And you said that you were a cuckoo, but it's all about diversity. Just look at the screen. Aren't we diverse? So the question about why I chose Bridgwater could be answered really, really simply. But as all things, it could also be answered much more complex way. The simple way is I was born in Bolton, so I'm a Lancashire lad, and I left Bolton when I was 19 to go to college in London. And apart from going back every now and then to visit my parents, I never went back to Bolton. And I lived in London for a long time, worked in theatre and in education, eventually had my first child and decided to go and live in the Channel Islands. Now, going back to my parents, I have a sister, and my sister had a habit of moving around the country. And as a result, my parents had the habit of following her. So she moved from Bolton to Nottingham. So my parents moved in that direction. And then my sister moved with her family to Bridgwater. Because her then husband got a job at the college in Bridgwater. And as I expected, my parents very soon moved down to Bridgwater and went to live in Netherstowey. And that was probably in the 80s sometime. So I have been visiting Bridgwater for quite a long time. But the first time I came to Bridgwater was when my dad said, "Oh, you must come down because they've got a thing called Carnival here and it's really good. You should come down. It's one of the biggest in the world." And I thought, yeah, I believe that. So my first visit to Bridgwater was actually to come to the Carnival. And because Netherstowe is the other way, I stopped in Bridgwater, had a bit of a look round before I'd met up with my parents to watch the Carnival. And while I was there, because of my interest in theatre and so on, I saw a sign for the Arts Centre and followed it and ended up in King's Square. And my jaw hit the floor because, obviously there's loads of squares like that in London, but I wasn't expecting to see that in the middle of Bridgwater. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I had a look round and I had to sit in the square. And I saw that they were pretty much all, dentists and accountants and insurance companies and the like, but pretty much all businesses. And I thought then, oh, what a shame. They were built for people to live in. So that must have been the mid to late 80s, I guess. And then we have to fast forward because I was living in the Channel Islands, and in 2009, and I'd been visiting regularly over that period of time. In 2009, my dad started to have health problems. So I spent a lot of time coming over from the Channel Islands and taking him to hospital, different consultants and so on. But what we discovered was that my dad had been concealing the fact that my mum had dementia. And so not only was my dad sick, but we also realized that my mum was sick. And at that point, I decided that it was time for me to do the right thing and come back and look after them. So the reason why I moved to Bridgwater was because of my parents. Sadly, my dad died the following year, and my mum went into care. She was in care in Williton, first of all, for many years actually, and I was driving backwards and forwards to Williton just about every day to see her. And then eventually she came back to Bridgwater and was at the Rosary just off Durley Road for a number of years. But she sadly passed away a couple of years ago. So if you like, I now have no ties with Bridgwater, so could quite easily leave and go on to other things. The interesting thing, and this is the reason why I say it's more complex, which is the reason why I stayed. And one day, I came here very, very soon after we moved over here. I brought my wife to have a look at Bridgwater, and I wanted to show her King Square because it's quite impressive. And we walked into King Square, and I was explaining about it, and then I looked across, and I saw a for sale sign, and it was for sale by auction. And I, like you do, I wonder how much that is. Wouldn't it be nice? To cut a long story short, I bought it. I bought it in an auction. No one else bid for it. It was in a terrible state, and I spent 2 years doing it up, and I now live here. And it's a fantastic house. And I was hoping that everybody would say, "Oh, that's a good idea," but no. There are now 2 houses that are total houses occupied by one family. And the other thing that happened was that while I had been interested in local politics when I was younger, you know, career takes over, and you know, you don't have time to do that. And when I landed in Bridgwater, I knew that there was, from my sister, I knew that there was a very active Labour Party here, and so I decided that now was a good time. I did have a bit more time on my hands to get involved with local politics and with the community. Am I right, Phil? Did I see Joe Strummer in one of those films that you showed? I thought so, because when I first came to Bridgwater, I was walking around town, and it did strike me that it was a bit like coming home. It was a bit like being in Lancashire. It was a bit like a Lancashire. That when I lived in Bolton, it was a cotton town. You know, still the cotton mills were open. So coming to Bridgwater, it had a very, very similar feel. And then I happened to read a quote from Joe Strummer, and he actually said that Bridgwater is the only northern town in the south of England. And I think he's right. I think it's got that sort of working class, really solid, industrial community feel about it. And I agree with Minty. Everything that Minty said, you know, I agree entirely. And it's the spirit of the people. And one of the things that I got involved with local politics, I became a councillor. I'm absolutely, you know, privileged to be mayor. One of the things that it gives you is the opportunity to talk to people. And I mean, it's been foreshortened a little bit because of the coronavirus, but not much has happened this side of New Year. But I've got to meet such amazing people, and loads of them. And when you're mayor, you can talk to loads of people and nobody minds. Nobody, and that's what's great about Bridgwater is, like I say, I agree. It's the people, it's the community spirit, and the fact that there are so many people, like 20, 30 people in front of me now, that are helping and wanting to improve life for the people of Bridgwater.
Yes.
That's the story.
Thank you, Tony.
Very nice.
It's really wonderful to hear your story, and to hear a story that isn't necessarily linear, a story that isn't just, you know, some of us come here on the train, we know exactly where we're going, but life isn't always that way. And it's really wonderful to hear also how you were able to turn circumstances that were, you know, not necessarily favorable into something really wonderful in a home that, from what I can tell from the background, has really become beautiful and well loved and lived in.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, all your work with the community is, you know, brilliant, and we're very, very lucky to have you here today. And thank you so much for your story and your time.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much once again. Now we are running a little bit behind, but I'm sure that with the stories that it's, you know, we're very happy to still be here and hanging on. I'm really excited also for this next contributor that we have, and I would like to invite back Richard, our very own Richard Tomlinson. Hello, Rich.
Hello.
We are going to be talking to the fantastic Laura Bull, who is, in my experience, a person who will lift anybody's spirits. She is so full of life. And
thank you. Hello, hello.
Hello.
Take it away, guys.
Okay. Elisa, do you have that photograph of Laura?
Oh my God.
I do.
If we can share that with people. For me, this just sums you up, Laura. Look Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Yeah, not me. God.
That's beautiful. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Elisa. I'm Richard, and I'm going to have a little chat with Laura. I work over at the engine room with Phil and Deb and Elisa and Anya, who's also with us this evening. And I just thought we could have a little chat. Is that going to be okay, Laura?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
I met you at the engine room for the first time, and it's quite early in the morning, and I was bringing some equipment in, and I could hear some singing in the building. But somebody's left the radio on, and went upstairs, and there was Laura just singing her head off. And that photograph, you know, it kind of sums you up for me. That you've always got a smile on your face. It's just so great.
Thank you.
So how are you anyway?
Well, myself, I am very well, thanks. Very well, yeah.
Okay. You're coping with the current situation, okay?
Oh, God. That made me feel crazy.
Okay.
Sometimes I feel that I am having a dream and I'm mad. Sometimes I can't believe that this thing happened.
Yeah.
But the first week I started working in the engine room, yeah. And the first week of the lockdown, oh my God, I used to cry every day, just very panicking, desperate, thinking about my family, thinking that we're going to die. Lots of things, but it slowed down.
Okay.
I start to feel better.
Okay.
I'm more positive.
That's good news. That's good
But
news.
it's very difficult, more because my family all is in America.
Yeah. Well, look on that, this is about what brought you to Bridgwater. So tell me, what brought you to Bridgwater?
Oh my God. This is a love history.
Okay.
I'm very love, okay. I came to Bridgwater about nearly 17 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I met my husband in Colombia. He went on holiday, and then one of my friends introduced me with him. So then he started going. Then one day he said, he like me. Then I said, oh,
it was the
what a surprise. Sorry?
Was it the singing that attracted
No,
you?
the thing is not me. Very elegant, very tall, very nice. Anyway, and then he said he liked me, and then he come by again maybe about 3 times more, and then we start to talk by internet. But always someone is to help me to communicate with him because he didn't speak any Spanish, and also myself no English.
Oh wow!
Anyway, yeah, someone is to help. And then one day I take my decision. I said, okay. Anyway, I married him in Colombia. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We made lots of plans, have family, holidays, lots of beautiful things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, after we married, 2 years after, he started to feel ill, a little cough.
Oh,
He
right.
never smoked, nothing. And then I said to her, go to doctor. And then he used to say to me, no, I'm not like you. You always complain. You always go to doctor. No. Mm-hmm. So one day he was very ill. And then he went to the doctor. And then they sent him to the hospital. Yeah, I was myself in my house waiting for him. Nothing. So later in that night, he phoned me. And then he said to me, Laura, don't panic. And I said, what happened? Where are you? Where you been? I've been looking for you. So he said to me, I am at the hospital. Find someone to take you here to the hospital. So I went there. They keep him maybe for 5 days. After 5 days, they find that he's had lung cancer, terminal lung cancer.
Right.
So that was it. They give to him 1 year he dies.
Oh, Laura. And
yeah, that is it.
Were you in Bridgwater at this time?
Sorry?
Were you living in Bridgwater at this time?
Yeah. After we married, I came to England. Then we start to have beautiful life. But when you marry, you never expecting
Yes,
this
of course.
thing happens so quick.
Yeah.
So he dies.
It was a very, very difficult start for you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Laura, tell me tell me a childhood memory of Colombia. Share with us a childhood memory.
Child memory, okay. My parents, all my brothers and sisters, all together. Colombian family, we always are very, very close. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for myself, my beautiful childhood was with my family, my brother and sister, and my Colombian friends.
Okay. Fantastic.
That's it important.
And tell me about your hometown in Colombia.
Okay, look. Palmi is my hometown in Colombia. It's called Palmira Valley.
Okay.
Yeah? It's a very nice place. It's bigger than Bridgewater.
Okay.
So lots of beautiful shops, lots of wonderful people, always happy. Yeah. Because sometimes doesn't matter if we have no money, but if we are happy and positive, everything is fine. So my town people is very happy.
Okay. So you brought that smile of yours.
Oh yes.
Across from your hometown, and you shared it with all of us people in Bridgewater. That's brilliant.
I love being happy because when I am like that, I forget everything.
Excellent.
Sometimes I feel very sad, but when I laugh, that makes me feel happy. For example, when I go to the engine room in the morning, I like my singing. You made me famous, don't forget. I love it.
What do you miss the most about Colombia?
Okay. What I miss more at the moment? My family, definitely. Because I came from a very close family and I had lots of nephews and nieces. So when I go home to visit, oh my God, that's lovely because I saw all my nephews.
Yes. Yeah.
I have I have 28 nephews, between nephews and nieces. So I just love it.
Yeah. So this thing that we're doing now, when we're kind of sharing our lives via phones and video meetings, you've been doing that for some time anyway with your family, right?
Yeah.
You're familiar with this.
That is very nice because that's the only way. The only way I can communicate with my people. I talk with my family every day. Sometimes I just don't want it because they phone me all the time. Yeah, they don't let me concentrate at home doing my stuff. For the other way, it's nice because they know about me and I know about them.
Yeah, brilliant. I'm just going to ask you a couple more questions because I'm sure Elisa has got lots of other things and she'll need to move on. When I was walking to the engine room a few months ago, and we met in the street and we were chatting on our way to the engine room. Yeah. And I don't know how we got onto it, but you talked about poverty. You talked about poverty in your hometown. And you said to me, basically, you've not got a job, you won't eat.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, poverty in your hometown.
Okay, what happened is, in my country, this is a very rich place. Like, for example, if we grow our own food, our own vegetable, everything. But if you have no job, you cannot eat because no one going to give you nothing. The government, we have too much corruption in the government. They give some money to help the people, and then they steal. Yeah. So and also And in this country, for example, we are very, very lucky, and sometimes we don't appreciate what we go. We have lots of different kind of help. If, for example, if you have no job, they give you money every week. Doesn't matter, it's little money, but that money helps you to keep going. By my country, they not give you nothing.
Right.
That's what happened.
Right. Well, thanks for chatting to us. One last question. What makes Bridgwater a special place for you right now, Laura?
Okay. I've been listening all the people here in this interview, and I shared with most of them about, for example, for me, the more important thing for me, made me feel happy in this water, the people.
Right.
I am so lucky to find a wonderful people, wonderful friends. And I don't know how to say thank you, for example, to the people of the engine room. Phil, who is there. Phil went to Colombia, he tell me. The engine room, I always say that this is my second house.
Okay.
Because I've been in that place maybe for 11 years. I am very old, but not myself in that place. So I just love it. Yeah. And the people, for example, Phil, Richard, I meet a lot of people, and always the people, all of you are so nice, because the job all you made there is helping people to keep going and to improve, and also the community, to put the community together. Sometimes people ask me, where is the engine room? There. That's the place when they teaching people to computer for free. Go there, the engine room. So you made lots of beautiful things, and I'm very happy to be part of the nice team, of the engine room.
Thanks for those kind words, Laura.
Yeah. So that's for my heart. Very nice. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, look, keep singing and keep smiling, because your smile is infectious. So
la, 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 la.
And that's the kind of infection we probably all want. Is a smile.
That is me. Oh my God! I forgot to say something. Sorry. I also, the capital of my little city is called Cali. Cali, Colombia is the capital of the salsa in the world.
Wow.
Cali, Pachanguero.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
That's okay. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And some really, thank you to you, Richard and Laura. Some really important topics touched on there as well. Oh, sorry, Laura, say that again, sorry.
Richard made me famous. He said to me that I have a wonderful boy. I cannot believe that.
It's true. It's true. And not just a lovely voice, but also really important things to say about, you know, the community and home away from home. I really, really appreciate you both being here. Thank you so much. And we will move from one important story to another. I'm going to introduce a PowerPoint presentation by our next contributor, who is Sian Owens from Hidden Voices. Sian is a member of Hidden Voices, which is a Bridgwater-based group who raise awareness of modern slavery and exploitation. So what I will do is I will share the presentation with you all.
Good evening. I'm Sian Owen from Hidden Voices Bridgwater. Hidden Voices Bridgwater are a charity organisation whose aim is firstly to raise awareness of and ultimately to stamp out modern slavery. Modern slavery has no place in our world. The slavery of today is quite different to the slavery of years gone by. The shackles are now invisible, and victims have been controlled by fear for themselves or their families. It is estimated that there are over 40 million people are held in modern slavery around the world, with around about 136,000 here in the UK. Modern slavery is a huge global problem, one that won't be solved without everyone coming together.
What is modern slavery?
Modern slavery is one of the greatest evils in our world today, and it is happening here in the UK and in Bridgwater. Modern slavery is an umbrella term for many types of exploitation. Sexual exploitation, including sexual exploitation of children. Forced labour. A young person is coerced to work through the use of violence and/or psychological intimidation. Child slavery. Young people under the age of 18 are particularly vulnerable to exploitation because they can easily be controlled by adults. Forced criminality. A person is forced into criminal activity for another's gain. A common form in the UK is cannabis cultivation and drug dealing, often called county lines. Domestic servitude. Maids, cleaners, nannies, or those that care for our elderly are forced to work for little or no pay, and they're often sexually abused. Forced marriage is another form of modern slavery. To find out more about this and other types of exploitation, visit our Facebook page, Hidden Voices Bridgwater.
Where does this exploitation take place?
Industries where exploitation is known to take place include agriculture. Seasonal fruit pickers and labourers are often controlled by a gangmaster and not paid for their work. Nail bars. Try chatting to your nail technician and find out a little bit more about her home life and family. Hand car washes. There's now a safe car wash app. When the lockdown is over, please download it onto your phone. Drug trafficking. The traffickers use slaves to distribute the drugs. These are often young people, and with such good road networks to the rest of the country, Bridgwater is a prime spot for county lines.
Who is at risk?
Unfortunately, it's the most vulnerable of our community who are at risk. The homeless, young adults, people with mental health issues, refugees, asylum seekers, and illegal immigrants. In a moment, you'll see a video called Horse Trading. It's a true account and it's representative of modern slavery that is happening closer to home than you might like to acknowledge.
Thank you so much to Sian for that presentation. Really important work, of course. I'm sure you'll all agree. If we can have a round of applause for Sian's wonderful work.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I will also pop in the link, in the chat, a link to the film that I would encourage everybody to watch about the horse trading. It does go into more detail, and it's, the more people are aware of what's going on, the less the incidents should be. So I just really appreciate the work you're doing, Sian. It's absolutely fantastic, and we're really glad that you shared your knowledge with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I do want to, let's have a look. So next on the list is, it will be a little bit of a change of tempo. I would like to invite my colleague, Anya, to say a few words about a wonderful film that she put together about why she made Bridgwater her home. Anya, would you like to say a few words before we play the film?
Hello. So I was thinking such a long time, what should I put in this presentation? Because, the reasons are usually very normal, like looking for a job or trying to change your life. But I've decided to share with you my view on Bridgwater what I see every day, and I would like to share with you where I come from.
Yeah.
To make you understand how different it is for me.
Brilliant, thank you. And I'm really looking forward to sharing it. As soon as I had to have a little sneak peek, and it's really lovely, and it makes you really, I look forward to the days that we can all go for a walk together and enjoy this beautiful, beautiful scenery that you've captured so wonderfully, Anna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. What brought me to Bridgwater? That's a good question. Current political and economical situation in Poland, hope for a stable future, adventure spirit, famous ish weather. But first, I'll show you where I come from and what I left behind. Łódź, the third biggest city in Poland, became famous 200 years ago due to its textile industry. Some people compare Łódź to Manchester. It's a city of 4 cultures: Polish, Jews, Russians and Germans. City full of manufactories and palaces. Well known in the world from its film school, place where Roman Polanski and Andrzej Wajda studied. Piotrkowska Street is one of the longest market streets in Europe, full of beautiful buildings, alleyways, shops and restaurants. Łódź is still growing. I miss all of these places every day. But I also miss my special places. Like my home, neighborhood, park. My home is in our family for over 90 years. My great-grandma built it. My roots are here. Most of my life is here. There are so many memories. So many memories. But the most important are about my friends. The best people I ever met in my life. Now, why Bridgwater? Maybe because of work. Maybe because my sister started here already. I didn't know nothing about the place I'm going to. And I like to know things. So before I packed myself to the plane, I've done a research. Bridgwater is famous from its carnival, a river going both ways, fair, placed in sunny Somerset, place of unrefined jokes for the rest of the England. Obviously Robert Blake. I was really homesick, but after some time, this town became my second home. And I became a part of community. Amazing, fascinating people with crazy culture and traditions. And I found out about the importance of the local accent. And that if I invite British friends home and they will come, that means something. Bridgwater is pretty. But there is loads of lovely places in its close and farther neighborhood. Beautiful manors, stunning beaches. Historic, iconic places I learned about in the school. So why I decided to stay here? Maybe it has kind of magic. Maybe because of people I met here. I think life is a journey. You never know where it finishes. So, enjoy every step.
Lovely.
So lovely. Thank you, Anya, so much. I was wondering, do you have any favorite places in Bridgwater at all?
Oh, Bridgwater is not too big, so almost every place is really nice. One of my favorite places is the Channel. I really love Eco Park behind the Fairfield. What else? I really love all these little streets in the town center. They're really pretty, like Silver Street and that sort of spaces. And I really, really like to walk around and cycle around the town.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, you made me want to find new places. And you also reminded me that, of course, home is also beautiful. And it's about maybe feeling at home in both places. And I think we're lucky to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think it's really important because when you don't feel good in a place, there's nothing, to hold you here. And I think I feel really good in Bridgwater.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much, Anya.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Another really beautiful film. I'm really excited. Is everybody ready? I hope you've got a bit of paper and a pen because it's time for Brian's quiz. Hello, Brian, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Hello. I do apologize. We are running a little bit late, but I can promise you I've had a sneak peek and the quiz looks fabulous. Can I ask, Brian, do you have a theme for today's quiz?
I have a theme for today's quiz. It's a quiz.
Excellent.
I hope everybody can hear me. Are you all there? Because I can't see anything now apart from my second screen.
Oh, yes.
And I'm going to do you a quiz now on a clever PowerPoint I did earlier. Here it is. There. Can you all see that? Can you all see and hear that? Okay, so I guess you can all hear my voice. I can't tell whether you can or not. I hope you've got a pen and paper ready. What I'm going to do is do you several questions. There's 2 answers for every question. Write them down on a piece of paper. When we've finished, I'll tell you the answers. You mark yourself, and you're honest with those answers clearly, surely. And there's no prizes. Doesn't need to be prizes, okay? And the theme of the quiz is Britain, the British Isles, not just Britain, but the British Isles, the lovely islands that we all live on here. So you've got to answer the picture that you see, where is this? And then you've got to answer the artiste that you hear the music from. There's a clue because you'll see 4 choices. So here's your first one. I want to know the county in this one.
Everybody, what's wrong with me? Shaking like a man on the old grumpy. The trees and ages and all sorts of veggies of the clump. Of the clump, of the clump, of the clump. There's a three-legged spider in a jar of cider of the clump. Of the clump, of the clump, of the clump. There's a 4-foot ferret and a swarm of bees, bow-legged badger and a dog with fleas. There's even a housemaid with housemaid's knees of the clump. Of the clump, of the clump, of the clump. Oh, there's a one-eyed rabbit with a dirty habit of the clump. Of the clump, of the clump, of the clump. There's an old wheelbarrow and a 10-ton marrow of the clump. Of the clump, of the clump, of the clump. There's an old greatcoat watch used by...
And here's your next one. Looking for a country.
Beth am gynnu tan fel y tan yn y llun, tan yn ein calon a tan yn ein gwaith, tan yn ein crefydd a tan dros ein hiaith. Beth am gynnu tan fel y tan yn llun, beth am gynnu tan fel y tan yn llun, tan yn ein calon a tan yn ein gwaith, tan yn ein crefydd a tan dros ein hiaith. Tan, 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 tan. Beth am gynnu tan fel y tan yn...
Now we're looking for a city.
Where we live, we've got everything. We've got a cuckoo and a nightingale. We've got a shop and a chapel and a boozer and a little jail. We've got a brain-sick witch and a cricket pitch. We've got a pump and a dump on here, a vicar and a blacksmith and a local idiot and a brigadier, a friggin' brigadier. Let the caravans come, let the caravans roll, tripping our hills, picking our daffodils, getting stuck in our holes, we don't care.
Now we're looking for a country.
Bonnet road to the water, sleep to let and you get a bonnet in a honey lick a yard. Who get the bonnet road to the water, sleep to let and you get a bonnet in a honey lick a yard. Bonnet Jevectal banana pull on your tab by you to fish sparse party in a woman. Bonnet Jevectal banana pull on your tab by you to fish sparse party in a woman. Who get the bonnet road to the water, sleep to let and you get a bonnet in a honey lick a yard. Who get the bonnet road to the water, sleep to let and you get a bonnet in a honey lick a yard. Bonnet Jevectal banana pull on your tab by you to fish sparse party in a woman. Bonnet Jevectal banana pull on your tab by you to fish sparse party in a woman. Who get the bonnet road to the water, sleep to let and you get a bonnet in a honey lick a yard. Who get the bonnet road to the water, sleep to let and you get a bonnet in a honey lick a yard.
Now we're looking for a city. And it's the one on the right.
Don't let the sun catch you crying. The night's the time for all your tears. Your heart may be broken tonight, but tomorrow in the morning light, don't let the sun catch you crying.
Here's another city.
Blackberry Way, absolutely pouring down with rain. It's a terrible day. Up with a lark, silly girl, I don't know what to say. She was running away. So now I'm standing on the corner, lost in the things that I said. What am I supposed to do now? Goodbye, Blackberry Way. I can see you, I don't need you. Goodbye, Blackberry Way. Should you want me back another day?
Here's another city.
come here, me little Jackie. No, I've smoked me backy, have a bit of cracky till the boat comes in. Dance to the daddy, sing to the mommy. Dance to the daddy, to the mommy, sing. Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy. Thou shalt have a fishy when the boat comes in. Here's the mother humming like a canny woman. Yonder comes the father, drunk he cannot stand. Dance to the daddy, sing to the mommy. Dance to the daddy, to the mommy, sing. Thou shalt have the fishy and a little dishy. Thou shalt have a haddock when the boat comes in.
Here's a country.
Ursing off, with him, ursing off, follow me, ursing off, ursing off, the head and ursing off, the rack, a hideous yelling, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel, yelling, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel. Vein in fat of the man, in vain, in fat of the man, and woman back on the man, vein, with grass and hiding. The magic natty will see, yelling, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel, yelling, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel. I do shit up in the shaw, I do shit up in the shaw, I do shit in the shaw, vein, with grass and hiding. Dan maak ik net in die onsie, en born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel. Een in vetter van een vet, van de maar in Holland bek, en de maar een met rest en harding. Dan maak ik net in die onsie, en born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, and born, born, of a funnel.
It's a city.
Punctured bicycle on a hillside desolate. Will nature make a man of me yet? When in this charming car, this charming man, why panther complexity when the leather runs smooth on the passenger seat?
Here's a city.
Oh my girl sitting in the sun, go round at the end of the road. I like to see you lick that. Oh, don't talk to me, please just walk with me. Please, you know I'm feeling frail. It's true, sun shining very bright. It's you I'm gonna love tonight. Ice cream tastes good in the afternoon. Ice cream tastes good if you eat it soon. Don't touch me, child. Please, you know you drive me wild.
Drive me wild. Here's a city.
It's happy, I'm again. I think I might be happy if I wasn't out with them and they're happy. It's a lovely place to be. Happy that the fire's full of barman is a shield. With a haircut, smile and the meaning of style is a night out with the boss. Where you win or you lose and it's them who choose. And if you don't win then you've lost. What a good place to be. Don't believe that. You speak a different language and it's never again. Don't believe that, oh no, 'cause it's never again. No,
Here's a city. Here's a city. Here's a city.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, frightened to live for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Their tears are filling up their glasses, no expression, no expression. At my head I want to drown my sorrow, no tomorrow, no tomorrow. And I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The dreams in which I'm dying are the best I've ever had. I find it hard to tell you, cause I find it hard to take. When people run in circles, it's a very, very mad world. Mad world.
Here's a town.
Some girls will, some girls won't. Some girls need a lot of loving in her, some girls don't. Well, I know I've got the fever, but I don't know why. Some say they will and some girls lie. So here I am in front of you, not really knowing what to do. My heart is feeling something. Purposely I turn away from you. I see those.
That's the end of the quiz. I can't remember how many those were, maybe 15. So there's 30 points, or 28 if there was 14, or 26 if there was 13. But I'm now going to give you the answers. If you'd mark them yourself, and when you get the final score, send that on the chat line, and then we'll work out who's the winner. All right? All right? Excellent. Here we go. So,
Everybody, what's wrong with me? Shaking like a man on the old scrumpy. Trees and ages and all sorts of veggies up the clump. There's a three-legged spider in a jar of cider up the clump. There's a 4-foot ferret and a swarm of bees.
next one. This is Tan Ir Llyn, the Welsh nationalist song, Fire in the Lakes. And the group there, Plythyn. Country being Wales. 1 point for Plythyn. Wales, I'll accept Cymru. And this one, of course, not him. Definitely not him. And not Miners leader Arthur Scargill.
Where we live, we've got everything. We've got a cuckoo and a nightingale. We've got a shop and a chapel and a boozer and a little jail. We've got a brain sick witch and a cricket pitch. We've got a pub and a dub on here, a vicar and a blacksmith and a local idiot and a brigadier.
And now this one. You'll hear the Gaelic sang in this one. It's sang by Moira Stewart, Lassie Come Home, or Donald McCruiser.
tävla djuret är spars dina vapen. Barnet jag vägt och barnen på om jag tävla djuret är spars dina vapen. Who get the bonnet foot to the water slipper.
And this one, of course. No points for Birkenhead, the city to the left of the picture. The answer is, of course, Liverpool, but which of the bands is it? It's not the Silver Meat, nor Scouse Party, nor is it famous Ken Dodds. It is, in fact, Sherry and the Pacemakers.
The night's the time.
The city is
for
Liverpool.
all your tears. Your heart may be broken tonight.
And of course, these Midland bands, this is not played, not any of these two are heavy metal bands. It is in fact Blue, in Blackberry Way, and they're from Birmingham, and that is Spaghetti Junction.
So now I'm standing on the
What's this one?
Come here, me little chappie, go up, smoke me backy, have a bit of cracky till the boat comes in. Dance to the daddy, sing to the mommy, dance to the daddy, to the mommy, sing. Thou shalt have a fishy on a little dishy, thou shalt have a fishy when the boat comes in.
Newcastle one time. No points for Newcastle on the line.
Here's the mother humming like a canny woman. Yonder comes the father, drunk he cannot stand. Dance to the daddy.
Now then.
Wishing off, with me, wishing off, follow me, wishing off, wishing off, and I had another single, I hit you see, and the born, and the born, and the born, and the born, born, of a funnel, and the born, and the born, and the born, and the born, of a funnel. Vein in fact, the full man in vain, in fact, the full man in Hulan back, and the man in vain, with grass and I the magic that you will see, and the born, and the born, and the born, and the born, of a funnel, and the born, and the born, and the born, and the born, of a funnel. I wish it up in the shop.
This one, of course. The Mayor of Bridgwater mentioned this as his hometown earlier. Which of these bands was it? It was the Smiths, and it's Manchester, the south side of the Pennines. You'll have heard of it. This one. Mr. Squirrel.
Oh my girl, stop singing. Go back at the end of the I like to see you live Don't talk to me, please.
Where are we now? Up on the River Humber. North Seaside. Not the Sugar Brothers, they were from Rotherham.
It's happy now again. I think I might be happy for us and I'm not happy. It's a lovely place to be. Happy that the fires will abominate his regime. With a haircut, smile and the meaning and the style is the night I'm with the boss.
Where's this one? It's not British John, the Welsh rugby player. It's not Barry Island. It was from south of Cardiff. It's John Barry. Music is a theme tune to Zulu, as in many classic hits. John Barry is from I like to brag, but my mother went out with him. Actually, it's not a brag, really, is it? Now, what's this
Oh, sorry, it's just quite tricky to hear you over the music. Sorry.
All right. Oh, I've stopped it now because. Shall I carry on?
Yes, please. Yes.
Let's see if that works then.
Sorry.
Go on. Just checking if my music's still going. Oh, that's okay. And we're on this one, I think, now. Oh, did I get that last one? That's Peter and the Test Tube Babies from Brighton.
Very good.
Right. You can see where the answers are here. Duran Duran, because that picture was a Spandau Ballet. It wasn't Spandau Ballet, because that picture was of Duran Duran. It wasn't these, because that was Walkman Wise, the famous English comedy duo. It was those. It was Tears for Fears from Bath. Bath. Formerly in Somerset, now not in Somerset. It's in Bath and North East Somerset. Tears for Fears from Bath. Answers there. And now the final one. And maybe the most important. Sweet. Those people. They didn't exist. Albert Matlock. It was Racy, the Bridgwater Together. And this one, maybe another song. And maybe let's have a little bit. Well, I know there is Bridgwater. And if you don't know where that picture is, some say it will wait somewhere at the corner of the Town Bridge. That was in the late 60s. I am in front of you, not real. So there we are. That's the end of the quiz. Mark up your points, send your scores, and don't lie, because there's no point in lying. There's no point in lying. I know that's my cost. There's no point in that. Stop share. I'll stop sharing. We've all gone. We're all back to normal.
Thank you so much, Brian.
So, coming in now.
That's quite good. 21. Oh.
24 from Deb. That's the highest so far.
That one me.
Tony. 26 from Cass. He's not beat the mayor. Nobody's actually allowed to beat the mayor in Bridgwater. Can anybody beat the mayor's 27? Bearing in mind the top score was 26.
I'm just going to everyone's not proud of it, but there we are.
Alisa, that was a very good score from yourself there.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That got me dancing. That got
very good.
me
Well done, Tony. You've passed your citizenship.
I might have to revoke my citizenship, I think.
No prizes anyway.
I have to say that was helped. Brian did a quiz about a week ago, and the band Racy came up in that quiz, and I'd never heard of them before. But I knew they were from Bridgwater, and that looked like Bridgwater.
I saw Racy in 1979 in Weston-super-Mare, and I asked where they were from, and they said Weston-super-Mare. I said, "You're not. You're from bloody Bridgwater."
Amazing. Thank you so much for that quiz. That was really a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Also, amazing presentation, can I just say. Really, really beautifully done. I would like to see, just before we wrap up, I'd like to take some time, but I'm not sure. I think we might be having some tech difficulties. Bear with me a moment, please. Nope, we don't hear anything. I'm really sorry. And I'm really sorry, we're joined by Hassan, and I was really looking forward to hearing about Hassan's story. I wouldn't know, maybe I can encourage Hassan and Michal to type something maybe in the chat to tell us a little bit about you. I'm really sorry that we're having these technical difficulties. I'm not sure why this has happened. Technology, best friend, but also enemy. I would encourage you, please, to write something in the chat, because I know that we would all love to hear your story. And I hope that in the future we will be able to hear from you, Hassan. I would also like to take this opportunity to see if we have any, what we call any other business. So if I would ask you to raise your hand if there's anything that you would like to share or have to say. about any upcoming events or personal projects, anything at all. Oh yes, Marius. Hello?
Hey guys, I just try to find the middle, and the same answer from everyone, because I was hearing the beautiful story, and I think the middle of that question, of that answer, is the people,
Yes.
What do you think? What do you think, Alisa?
Yes, I think you're right.
It's people, I think.
It's always the people, and I do think there's also something to be said about Bridgwater people, because many people, I've lived in many places and I've met wonderful, wonderful people, but I've never quite had a welcome like I had in Bridgwater.
Something's positive, strange in here. Like someone said, it's some vibration or something like that, some from community. I think this is great, and I think everyone gives the same answer to people. So congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Yes, everybody. So good. And thank you. I think you are right. I'm just going to try one more time in case it works. Oh, Michal.
Hi.
Can we hear you? Oh, we hear you, Hassan.
Yes, can I talk in?
Yes, hello.
Hello, how are you, everybody?
Good.
Good. Sorry, I'm Hassan. I'm from Syria. I came to the UK in Somerset, Bridgwater, 26 months before.
Wow.
And when I came to the UK, I'm so angry because new life, new people, new language, and new country, and I don't have any friend. But now I can't move in Bridgwater because not many thousand, I think many hundreds people friend me now.
Yeah.
I think, and all the people in Bridgwater so friendly and beautiful area, beautiful town, and I like my job in here. Very, very good job.
Yeah.
And yeah, I can't change Bridgwater now because I think now it's in my city before.
Amazing. What is your, Hassan, what would you say is your favorite thing about Bridgwater?
Favorite? Yeah, I like here in Bridgwater, bake fair.
Yes.
Yeah, this very nice. And Carnival, Bridgwater Carnival.
Mm.
Yeah, and I like here the people here so friendly. My neighbor here, not tell me, oh Hassan, Mr. Hassan or anything. He tell me, oh my brother, can you come? Oh, and lots of people here speaking Arabic now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, this my boy Ali.
Hi, Ali. Everybody wave. Oh, that's so lovely. But I have to say, Hassan, I've had Syrian food.
Similar, yeah?
Yes, but Syrian food is very good. Do you not miss the food?
Hassan younger, Hassan man.
Oh, it's so good to meet you both.
Thank you very much.
And
I'm not. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm now fasting because now Ramadan.
Yes.
Yeah, I think now more 20 minutes or I start eating and drinking.
Amazing.
Long day here in the UK. Long day. 18 hours a day fasting. Yes?
Wow.
18. Yeah? No, 18. Yes. Long day. And now because I'm so hot now, thirsty.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing. The last hour, it must be the hardest, would you say?
Yeah, last hour so hard. Every 1 minute I look on the clock. Oh, 1 minute. Oh, 2 minutes.
Amazing. Well, we are so, so happy, Hassan, that you are in Bridgwater and that you are now our friend and, like you said, our brother.
Yeah.
And we hope to hear more from you in the future. It's so great that you and your boy are here. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you so much for everybody.
Brilliant. Thank you all, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I perhaps in the future not more Corona, but in a meeting, other meeting, face to face, not in a online.
Yeah.
I perhaps for that, and I pray and ask Allah finish the Corona soon.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hassan.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Amazing. It's so lovely that we are hearing from so many of you with such different stories and such really positive attitudes and spirits. Is there anybody else that has any updates or anything they would like to say? I'm scrolling through. I'm going to try Michal one more time. Come on, third time is the charm. What about now? We still can't hear you. Unmute. I'm pressing unmute and it is not doing it. I'm really sorry. I do believe that Michal was hoping to speak about the, is it Somerset Together? Phil, is that right? Hello, yes.
You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Michal. He's just moved house, and it might be something to do with his connection. Sadly, he's not been able to talk to us, but I know that he was going to flag up. Michal, can you speak now? Just reappeared? No. What he was going to do was flag up a very special event coming up on June the 13th, which is Somerset Together. As a result of the various events that have gone on at Bridgwater Together, Taunton Together, and particularly the last online event that we did, there's been interest from all over the county, particularly from Yeovil and elsewhere, and over in Mendip, over here in Mendip. And so he's going for, or putting together an event for June the 13th, Somerset Together, which is going to be really exciting because it'll be linking up towns all over Somerset. And while I'm on, I'll just plug again, June the 6th, which is the week before, is our next event on the theme of when all this is over, life after lockdown. So those are the two events that I think Michal was going to talk about.
Thank you so much, Phil. Thank you for stepping in there. That's wonderful. I'm really looking forward to both of those events. It's so comforting to know that regardless of whether lockdown is extended or lifted, that there is always friendly faces and a community in Bridgwater that, you know, we seem to really be able to rely on in coming together. I think that's really powerful and wonderful. We are coming to the end of our wonderful event tonight. I want to say a really big thank you to all of our contributors, to Phil and to Michal for organising, and to all of the Bridgwater Together members that also supported us in organising the event. A huge thank you to our partners and to you, the wonderful audience. You've all been really, really brilliant. It's so great to see your faces. Thank you for participating. Now, in a moment, we will be playing our last contribution of the day. I'd like you to stay and watch the video till the end. We will display some information, including the YouTube channel where you can watch the recorded event, and also our social media channels for Bridgwater Together. So as Phil said, kindly on the 6th of July is the next event. Now I'm going to share a few images with you. So we will be closing tonight's event with a tribute to a friend of many of ours. Here we are. So this is John Hubble. Now, John's friends and family would describe him as a lifelong socialist and a teacher. He's a beloved dad. He is a beloved husband, granddad, and comrade. Here we are. So his partner Irina and his daughter Baya are here with us tonight, and it is our privilege to have this opportunity to remember him. And in a moment, we will see B performing in a orchestra, the wonderful Kaleidoscope Orchestra. They are based in Manchester, and they bring classical music together with the music of the 21st century. The tune they're playing is dedicated to John, and you'll be able to see Baya playing the oboe in front of John's extensive and wonderful collection of vinyl records. We just want to say thank you so much for everything, and John, we remember you and we miss you, and I leave you with this wonderful piece. Thank you everybody, and good night.